So we are going to remove the existing crowns. Here I'm using a 557 carbide burr. Once the crowns are removed, I am clearing out the interproximal areas, and everyone has their own preference when it comes to preparation. I just prefer to get the occlusal reduction taken care of first, and then moving on to the axial walls. Here I'm using a coarse football to reduce the occlusal surface. We are using an all-ceramic restoration for this case, so ideal reduction occlusally is 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and I do use a prep check guide that shows me what areas need to be reduced even further. Even though PFMs were placed previously, there was still a lack of reduction. So I do most of my gross reduction with a coarse, round-ended tapered diamond. And once I have most of the reduction occlusally and axially, and once the overall gross reduction is completed, I will refine the preparation with a fine, rounded, tapered diamond. And here, sometimes I do like to take a composite rubber wheel to help roll over the sharp angles. We do want rounded internal angles whenever. So here are the final preparations. Enough reduction occlusally and axially, and then once that is taken care of, a very important step that should never be overlooked is gingival retraction. Here I'm using a double core technique. The first layer is a thinner 00, and that will help displace the gingiva apically, and a second layer of cord is applied right on top of that to help displace the tissue laterally. We need to create some form of separation, not just for digital dentistry, but in dentistry in general. If you're doing it conventionally, it's extremely... So we are going to utilize the 3M True Definition intraoral scanner, and I will apply a very light mist of the 3D in motion technology that the 3M TrueDef uses to capture scans. I start off right over tooth number 18. I get the occlusal areas, and I begin my rotations to the buccal and to the linguals of tooth number 20. You want to make sure that that area is acquired as well. And then I just capture the opposing scans, the entire upper left quadrant, design proposals properly over the preps. Then it's time to mark the margins, and just going back to proper tissue retraction. That's why it's so critical, because now it's up to you, or if you delegate to your assistant, which is also very, very functional position is set properly. The buccal and lingual position of these molars are set where the buccal cusps are within good function in the central fossa of the upper molars of 14 and 15. This off to the TS150. So each of these restorations take about 15 minutes to mill, and during that time you could actually either work on another patient, or a great thing is to work on any direct restorations that need to be performed on the patient. And with the lithium silicate material, you can see it comes out a little bit in a purplish color. It's just a good reminder that you do need to put these in the porcelain furnace for about a 20-minute cycle, and it takes it up to about 810 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes. And during that process, it crystallizes and here I do try in the restorations prior to putting them in the porcelain furnace for its crystallization cycle, because at this stage I want to adjust the contacts to how I like them. I verify that the occlusion is where I want it, and if there's any adjustments that need to be made, it's much easier to do. Take advantage of the required porcelain oven cycle and add a few stains to the